When do it start kicking in? When does it start kicking in?
What?
The tick.
Oh, at the 7 minutes. Let's say, you try to use 2 bags, but 1 is enough. But
so you're gonna drink that now while we record, and it's gonna kick in at the 7 minutes.
Let's not go. No, not. Oh no, not going to the bathroom. No.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Oh
the bathroom.
no, oh no. It's gonna make me go. Oh yes.
They recommend you drink too.
Like for best results.
Oh wow.
But it's good. Like if you, I know this sounds weird, but like if you pass gas, like it smells like it's old stuff. It don't smell like new stuff.
I don't even know. All mine smell like old.
What's going on YouTube? Is Kevin the McTell.
Take a picture of that. Where's the box so I can take a picture of it?
It's called Detox.
I drank Theraflu. I drank 3 cups of Theraflu. This weekend was
was
a bad
sick?
weekend for me. Yes. I couldn't swallow at all. Like, I thought I had strep throat. It was so bad. So, what I did was I started off by gargling with some peroxide.
Right.
Just to help, kill any bacteria that may have been in my mouth, in my throat, whatever. Then I drank. Oh my God! I drank so much water. I was just pissy all weekend. It was just water, but I couldn't drink anything other than water. Like I couldn't drink any soda because the acid would have completely, So what I did was I just drank a lot of water. So then by what was it, Sunday? It may have been Sunday or Saturday, one of them days. I think it was Sunday. It was like, wait, I can't do this no more. I can't do this. I have to find some type of medicine. So I went to the market and I was on live and I asked the people on live, what should I get? And majority of people were like, get Theraflu.
Yeah, that's my favorite medicine.
So the last time I had Theraflu, I got the wrong flavor. I got berry and I didn't like it.
Oh, I love berry.
Yeah, I didn't like it. So while I was standing there, I saw one that said lemon tea or whatever. Yeah. So I got that. And that's actually, that tastes much better for me. But I drank 3 cups of it. I drank 2 cups on Sunday. And then I drank 1 cup of it last night. And when I tell you all of the pain is gone, and then I started feeling like the phlegm that was
in there.
I said, thank you, Jesus. Because I had an appointment with I went to urgent care. But when I went to urgent care, they told me that my doctor there, he didn't have any appointments. So they said they were going to do something that I never heard of today, which was a telehealth. Yeah.
Through the phone.
Through the phone. So I had an appointment with them this morning at 10 o'clock. But by the time this morning came, the pain was gone. So when they called me, I said, well, let me cancel this appointment. Because the lady was like, well, you have an appointment coming up at 10. So I was like, no, I want to cancel it. So, but what is the telethon?
You just talk to the doctor through the phone. They they talk to you through the phone about
but see, my whole thing is, I wanted a doctor to go in my throat. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk to you. I want you to look in my throat.
Right.
So I'm thinking like, well, how is he going to do that? But this morning I was like, no, I feel fine now. I can swallow now. Thank you, Jesus. Right. Because it was painful. I couldn't swallow.
Do you think it might have been something you ate?
You know what it was, Kevin? I started getting a cold, and this was like unusual for my throat to hurt the way it was hurting. But I kind of contributed the cold to me last week when the weather changed. And because remember how cold it was, and then it started warming up. And I was going outside at work at night, running to the store and to my car with no jacket on, just like this. So
I'm feeling it.
By the end of the week, it hit me.
He was really
feeling it. I was feeling it. Like, motherfucker, who you think you is running outside with no jacket on? I said, oh my God. But thank God it didn't last too long. It was just the pain of swallow. I was like, I can't swallow. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Everybody, I want to say thank you to those who listen to the podcast. I know we don't broadcast the Scripture Show podcast all like that, but I need you guys to start listening to it, and just thank y'all for listening, because I posted a link this weekend. A lot of you guys watched it, and I actually was like, well, you know what? Let me put it on YouTube to see what happened. And it was around the last time I looked, it was around 3,000 people who turned it on and listened. That's good. So, you can always listen to the Scripture Show podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to it on Google Play. We're on iHeartRadio, Spotify. We're on wherever you can listen to a podcast. We are there. So make sure you are turning us on. And I really had a good time, because I think this is one of our longest, probably an hour and 40 minutes. I don't even remember what the hell we talked about. we did talk about a lot of stuff and a lot of side conversations, but I really had a good time. And, you know, I look forward to y'all listening to the next podcast this weekend. And then we're going to get to 2 questions that was for the podcast. We didn't get a chance to get to it, but we will answer it on this video. If you want to send any questions to the Scorpion Show podcast, send it either to the Scorpion Show at yahoo.com or the Scorpion Show at gmail.com. So that way you can remain anonymous and you don't have to go write me in my DMs. You can just go right to the email. Send it to email scorpionshow at yahoo.com or the scorpionshow at gmail.com. And don't forget to put the K. Make sure you spelling it right. The Scorpion Show with a K. So this weekend I had a chance to watch the Billie Holiday movie. I watched it twice. Now, I will say that I loved Andra Day's performance. This is her first time as an actress. She did a damn good job. She lost weight for the role. Like, she really became Billie Holiday.
And won a Golden Globe.
Yes, she did. Yes,
for her
she
first
did.
role. But that's kind of like
role.
Jennifer Holiday when she won. Not Holiday, Hudson when she won that Oscar.
I'm hoping. I don't know if this movie can be nominated for an Oscar.
But I feel like they are nominating these movies for Oscars. Because remember, Mary J. Blige was nominated for
that was on Netflix. Yeah.
So
I don't know if they consider Hulu like a movie platform.
That's right. This is next. Yeah.
But I'm hoping
they need to start. You know why they need to start? Because I feel like with today's world, a lot of these movies, a lot of people are watching movies
online. They're not going to the movie theater.
Yeah, going to. I mean, I'm paying for it any damn way.
Like, I can't picture me going back to the movie theaters anymore. Well, first of all, going to the movies is not really my thing or like that. That was more Mikkel's thing.
Yeah, that's my thing. And I miss it. I miss it.
I
That's crazy
really,
you said that because everybody knows me to
go to movies.
I love going to the movies.
I like sitting my ass right at home and watching it on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. Like we watched, I know you watched, well, let me get back to Billie Holiday before I forget. Now, I loved her performance, but, you know, I felt like that movie was missing something. I don't know what it is, but I felt like it was missing something. And I just love Andra Day's performance. That movie is not nothing that I could go back and say, you know what, I got to watch that again. Like, that was amazing. Like, I really got to watch it again.
Even though you did watch it 2 times.
Yeah, but I had to because I fell asleep.
Oh, you fell asleep. Okay. Oh, okay.
You know when you rewatch it, yeah. But Miss Lawrence, the guy that was in Moonlight, I can't remember his name. Everybody did a good job, and it's a shame, and it just what makes you more upset is that how the government was setting us up and still trying to set us up, but on the sly, you know. But they really wanted to go after her over a song, and they used drugs to get at her. And the way she died, handcuffed to a bed, and she couldn't get her body needed those drugs. Oh my God, it had to be horrible to go through. And that was just a horrible time for a lot of people back in those days.
She looked beautiful at her funeral.
Yeah,
the real.
They showed like a.
They showed pictures. Yeah.
Stuff from. They didn't show her body.
Oh yeah.
But they.
Well, they have. They have from her funeral pictures of her in her casket on Google. She looked really nice. Like she looked really nice. She apparently had a big funeral because they had pictures of outside when her family's coming to church. It was in New York, and she had a really big funeral. So it's like she went out nicely. They sent her off the right way.
Right.
But it is sad because I think that this movie, like you said, was focused just on that song, and it was focused on one period of her life.
Right.
Kind of like how Ma Rainey was. We're just focused on that one recording session. Where I feel like I wish that those 2 movies would have focused more.
Right.
Would have gotten deeper into, but it's funny that because I did learn some stuff that I didn't know about. Like I didn't know, and I knew a little bit about Billie Holiday, but I didn't know that she did and dad and same-sex relationships. I didn't know that she had a close friendship with Tallulah Bankhead, who was an actress at the time. And then I went to go Google to see if I could find like different pictures of them together. And I kept only finding this one picture of them together at this event. So I'm like, well, were they really as close as the movie put them to be? Or was this,
They probably couldn't be out there together like that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying But I don't think too many people at the time. But you gotta remember too, back then, it's not like today where people who were gay, they were open with it.
Right.
So I think that if they were friends, 2 women being friends, I don't know if that would have raised eyebrows. But I don't know. It was kind of. I don't know. Like, I wish I would have found more information about their relationship because I was just like, are they just dramatizing this for this movie? Because I don't see too much information about them even being that close as friends, other than this one picture that keeps popping up of them at this event. But
yeah, I've never read that book. What Lady Sing the Blues? Her biography, but she might have talked about her in there. I don't know.
Well, Diana Ross played her in that movie.
And and Diana, that was her first starring role when she got nominated for an Oscar. Mm-hmm. So baby, if you want to win, you got to play Billie. No, we only need one generation at a time. Mm-hmm. But I do love to play Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill with Audra McDonald as Billie Holiday. Mm-hmm. Like, of course, she's like one of the best theater actresses ever, and it's like singers. Singers. She sang, she acted. Like, it was really good, and it was basically just her for 2 hours going straight and just telling stories and singing. It is amazing. I don't know if HBO has it back on their network, but if you ever get a chance, you have to watch it. You're not going to find it on any streaming services. You will only see it on HBO. So make sure you check it out on HBO. It's really, really,
what is it called?
Good. It's called Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. Okay. It happens, I believe, either it's not shot in Philadelphia. Either it's supposed to be in a Philadelphia bar or it's in a New York bar.
Remember she in one scene in the movie, this movie with Audra Day, where she was saying that when her cabaret license was revoked, she could only sing in Philly and I think DC.
Right. She couldn't sing anywhere where there was alcohol being served.
Right.
Which is fucked. Like, they really fucked with her money because she was paid. Like, and she when I even read some more stuff, she died with 70 cents in her bank account. Yeah, she didn't have a dime to her name. Yeah, she didn't. That is fucked up. And her mom and
that's true when the wrong people get a hold of your money too.
Yeah,
because the wrong people were I feel like she didn't have the right accountants and stuff.
Nobody, you know what? Nobody looked out for nobody, especially black people. Yeah. Nobody look out for you.
She didn't have the right people because for you to die with only a couple of cents in your bank account and you've been singing for all these years. She was singing for like over 20 years at the time of her death. And I was like, wait, come on.
And she was only 44 when she passed, which is
she was young.
Horrible. That's a horrible way to go out. But yeah, if y'all get a chance, look for the movie The United States versus Billie Holiday on Hulu. And it stars Andra Day. She did a fantastic job. I do hope that there's an Oscar nomination coming her way. I really, really do. Like, she was literally that good. And she wasn't afraid to show her body. Like, she did what she had to do. Thumbs up, Andra. So, it's been a lot of allegations going on against New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. And the first allegations, before they became sexual allegations, were about him lying about the numbers of COVID patients who passed away in these nursing homes in New York. And then there was like a scandal with him putting 9 COVID patients in nursing homes where they could catch COVID, and some people, passed away. And one of the ladies that worked for Fox News, her name is Janice Dean, she has been going after Andrew Cuomo ever since she lost her in-laws. So, I mean, like, anytime he speaks out, she would say that he's lying.
I think that's the one that's friends with Meghan McCain. Because I know Meghan McCain has been talking about one of her friends lost her parents or grandparents. I think it may have been grandparents, though. So that maybe not be her. But I know she said one of her friends lost their grandparents in New York in a nursing home. And Meghan McCain, she's been giving Andrew Cuomo hell ever since.
Yes,
she's been giving
and I mean, she's like, he's lying. And I mean, at first you think like, maybe she just one of them Fox News people. Who knows? Like, because not everybody lost somebody, but I think we all know someone who caught it or passed, or know someone who passed. But it was just crazy in New York. Now, for me, I'm like, okay, Andrew, why would you lie about these numbers? COVID was heavy in New York. It was basically the epicenter for a while. And it was everywhere. So why would you lie and fudge up numbers about what's going on because you were afraid it was going to hurt you? It doesn't hurt you. It comes down more on the president. who lied, and these stories still come out about him not telling anybody that he got the vaccine, but yet it was a hoax. It's a hoax, but you're getting vaccinated, and that's why you're not telling anybody. He's such a fucking liar.
Well, remember too, though, at one point Donald Trump was allowing states basically saying y'all
gotta handle.
Yeah, y'all handle. So not saying that it's okay for him to lie, but I think that these states and these governors were so overwhelmed,
right?
You know, with what was going on. I don't agree with this whole putting people and the lying about the numbers. I don't agree with that, and I think that, you know, if that is true, and they're still investigating that, he was wrong for that, and something should be done about that.
Yeah, I don't know if he. I don't know if he should resign because he lied about numbers, but I do feel like...
Because remember, a few months ago, last year, a lot of people were Team Cuomo.
Right.
During the election, because a lot of people were...
every day.
People were like, oh, he's talking our language. He's coming straight at Trump's neck. He ain't letting up. And I think a lot of us, before the election even came about, during the process, a lot of people were like, oh my God, well, we wish he was running for president, you know. And then I think many people like myself were like, I think that in 2024 I could see him running. But I think now that you have this big scandal coming out,
like, them skeletons always find a way to fall out that closet, don't they? Because now...
But that's only if you got somebody opening the closet door and pulling stuff out of the closet. And I think that with these women, I think it's unfortunate because you didn't hear anything about any woman until this scandal with the COVID numbers.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, you got 3 different women coming out and saying that he sexually harassed them. Now, listen, shout out to women. Shout out to women coming forward, because I know it can't be easy. You know, I think that it you know, people should be believed when they are, you know, saying certain things. However, I am one of those people that I believe that you are innocent until proven guilty, because you have a lot of people who will say one thing to get back at someone. And you have a lot of people that come out and say, Kevin said that Mikkel touched him, so I'm going to automatically believe Kevin. I don't care what Mikkel said. I'm going to just automatically believe Kevin. And it's like, well, you didn't even get Mikkel's side of the story yet. You know what I mean? Like, you have people like that. I know what bothers me about The View is that a lot of times the women on The View will automatically say, oh, I believe the women. I believe the women. And it's like, well, damn. Can the man get a chance to defend himself? You know what I mean? It's like automatically the man is guilty.
Whatever happened to trust but verify?
He's guilty because why would she lie? Well, why wouldn't she lie? You know what I mean? And I think that I get it. The View is full of women, so they have a biased opinion, but I'm a man. And I know for a fact that I've never been accused of sexual harassment, but I've been accused of things that were a lie. And it's not a fun thing. I mean, it is fun when you have the proof, but it's not a fun thing having to defend yourself. Because once a lie gets out there and enough people get a hold of that lie, whether you prove yourself or not, people still gonna be looking at you, oh, I don't know if I should try. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, come on, I just had to prove myself. Y'all saw that I'm telling the truth, but yet you still have that lie out there in the atmosphere. Well, I don't know, you gotta watch it, because remember when so-and-so said, that bothers me. So it's like, give the man a chance. And I like that he came out and said that he may have said something to one of the girls that may have been
that was the second one.
Yeah, that may have been
the first one he flat out denied.
And he probably said, listen, I don't know what to do with you, so why would you? But the second one, he said, listen, I may have said something to her that was flirtatious. And I love the fact that he owned up to that rather than denying it. But I just think that that's why I tell people, you have to make sure, especially men, you got to be very, very cautious of the situations you're in. I never forget, I was doing this one trip, and one of my coworkers said to me, oh, my friend, she wants to go, but she wants to know if you can come to her house and pick up the money. I said, no, I can't go to her house and pick up the money. Oh, no, but she lives near you. I said, no, she can either, you can get it and bring it to me, or, I said, but I don't go to any woman's house that I don't know. I'm not doing that.
Right.
I don't do that. That's not what I do. I don't know the woman. Right. So, no, I'm not going to her house. I'm not doing that. Because anything can be said. I don't know people's intentions. So therefore, I'm never going to put myself in a position that way. I know a lot of people laughed at Mike Pence, but Mike Pence has the right thing where he says he don't be alone in the room with a woman unless his wife is in there. Or somebody else was in there. And he should, because you just never know. You have a lot of sneaky ass women who will say and do anything for a quick 15 minutes of fame. I feel like the only woman out there that had her ducks in a row, not saying that other women didn't, but the one woman that I can remember who had her ducks in a row was Monica Lewinsky. And I'm saying that because she had that blue dress with that stain. And Bill Clinton, once there's a stain left behind,
right,
can't deny that.
But this is my thing. I know that some people, they can say stuff that's out of pocket. But like when I hear about like sexual harassment, I'm thinking like it's more like, yeah, we gonna fuck, like
I grabbed you.
Yeah, I touched you. Like that's what I'm thinking. But if it's an off-color joke, I don't really feel like bad about that. I think men are always gonna be men. They're gonna say these things, they're gonna do these things, but we need to not offend people. Maybe we shouldn't say those things to women that will make them feel some type of way.
I've said I've said crazy jokes to my friends at work. I've never said something like that to somebody who I'm not close with.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? If you are saying something like that to somebody who you're not close with at the workplace, then yeah, you should know better. Now, you shouldn't say it to any of your friends either. But I can't lie and say that I haven't said anything. I've said some stuff to some of my coworker friends, my female coworker friends at work. But I know for a fact that's my friend. And I know for a fact she probably look at somebody and say, he ain't sexual harass me. That's just Mikkel. He's, you know what I mean?
But you
that's
never know,
that
you might get that one person that just
that's
like,
true. That's why you have
made me feel.
You're right.
Because at work, right, like, I get certain questions. And now I don't feel harassed, but I do feel like sometimes it's a irking, like it's like, oh, leave me alone about this shit. Mm-hmm. Like nobody's fed out like, are you gay? Mm-hmm. Like nobody has done that, but I get asked certain questions and I get irritated by them. Right. And I'm seeing that my job, we're about to do this harassment training now, and it starts tomorrow, and then like every couple of days, other people will go in. And I do hope that it changes because for a while, like, it has become, I don't want to talk about my job. But, I'm just glad that it's being done because I don't want nobody watching the video like, oh, he's talking about the board. Okay. But, yeah, like, sometimes I do feel uncomfortable. But it's not to where I be like, I'm afraid, like, if I say something.
Right.
But I'll just be like, oh, my God.
I think there's certain people who know who to say it to and who not to say it to. I think you probably come off at your job where everybody likes Kevin and they feel free to talk to you. I don't have those issues because I think people look at me and say, "Oh, I ain't gonna say that to Mikkel because that's how I come off."
Right.
You come off a little bit different, which is nothing wrong. But I think certain people know what to say and who to say it to. Me, nobody has ever tried me at my job in that way. But I had this one girl at my job a few years ago. She doesn't work there anymore. But a few years ago, and one of my coworkers, her daughter watches, and I'm sure if she sees this video, my coworker should be like, yeah, because she was sitting right there when it happened. This one girl. Now, we're not friends, but cordial at the workplace. Mm-hmm. And we were talking, and I guess she got a little too comfortable. Mm-hmm. And she said something to me, and I looked at her and I said, me and you are not that close for you to ever think you can ask me a question like that. Mm-hmm. And she said, oh no, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I said, do me a favor, don't ever let that happen again. Yep. And the whole section, all of us, everybody got quiet. Mm-hmm. Don't you ever ask me that again, because we ain't that comfortable. We speak,
right?
But don't you ever think you can act, and don't you ever think that you're gonna ask me something like that, and I'm gonna answer it,
right?
Like you talking to a kid. You ain't talking to a kid. Don't ever ask me no question like that.
Like one time something came up about like your boo. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't talk like that.
Don't talk like that.
I don't talk about none of that stuff, and we won't even be having that conversation.
I don't even have family members.
Right.
Talk to me like that.
Tell me you'll be coming to your house.
We don't talk
First
like
of all, I don't hang outside of if it ain't else in this workplace, maybe we could go get a drink. Yeah. Maybe I'll go to your house, but you're not coming to my place. Yeah. Because I feel weird about that a little bit. But like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I am like so friendly,
and it's nothing wrong with that. I just think that with me, I'm a little bit different. I'm more so a little old school, and I'm more so mind your tongue when you talking to me, because I laugh and I joke. But when I hear you getting out of line, I'm going to check it. Because my mom used to tell me all the time years ago when I was younger, if you allow someone to disrespect you one time, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So you have to check them that one time. Because if not, then they're going to keep doing it. And when she said what she said to me in that hallway, and I looked at her and I told her, don't you ever think that you and ask me, don't you ever.
It's true.
Don't you ever.
It's true.
Part your lips to question me about anything.
Right. Like I don't go in there. I don't go in there talking about because I do this and I do that.
Don't do
I
that.
Don't talk about anything.
Don't do that.
I don't talk about none of that stuff.
Don't do that.
And someone will ask about the podcast, and I'll be like,
right.
Don't do that. Now here's a forewarning. The way I am here is totally different than what I am on that podcast. Now, you want to hear it? Don't look at me any kind of way after you hear this fucking podcast.
Right.
And let some people know. But, and then they be like, oh my God, I loved it, blah, 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 blah. Which is a good thing.
I have a coworker of mine. Well, she's no longer a coworker of mine. But me and her are still good friends. And she watches the show all the time. When she was working at my job, we'd be sitting in the break room together and she'd be watching the show. And I'd be like, put your headphones in because I don't want to hear it. I don't already record it. Put your headphones in. Never did she ever ask me anything that she heard us talk about that had anything to do with, and she said, never. Never, ever, ever. Because she knows me. No, you don't ask me stuff like that. She knows me. I just think that some people get a little, and you ever notice there's always people that you're not cool with who does that? Mm-hmm. It's always people that you ain't cool with. It's just somebody that you may be cordial with, but you ain't cool with. You be looking at them like, hey.
First of all, I want to know, when all of a sudden you start want to have these conversations?
That's because you're being nosy, and you're trying to get more information so that you can take whatever I tell you back to the person you were talking to me about.
Right.
That's what it is. Oh, guess what Kevin told me? He told you was right. No, we're not doing that. We are not doing that.
Because all I know is I'll be like, these girls, some of them people in there are young. Like, they are young. Like,
Chatty
people come on the night shift, and they just be talking, and I'll just be laughing. Then sometimes I'll pitch in, and I'll just say something like, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. You're young. What I really try to do is encourage them to live, because bitch, it's your 20s.
Right.
That's to be lived. Don't be all flat out sad about no one fucking person. You got the 23, 24, 25. Wait till you get to almost 30, and you're going to stop tolerating all the dumb shit that these people do. Yeah. One of my co-workers, it was like sad stuff all the time. I'm just like, no.
I don't got time for that.
Yep. But I'm glad that, it's over, but it's still, I feel bad for her a little bit too. Like, I be wanting to engage more, but I'll be like, I can't. Like, I can't.
Right.
I can't. Because it'll be too much. But, you just got to be careful what you say to people. And, like, I don't like being asked certain questions. Nobody has ever asked me about my sexuality, but I have been asked questions where I'm like, okay, like, are you trying to probe? Or, like, are you just, like, really asking me because you really want to know? And I get that uncomfortable feeling once they ask me a certain question. And I'm like, oh.
Now I'm getting hot.
Yeah, it's getting hot.
First, I liked it.
It's getting hot. Yeah.
Now I'm getting hot. First, I like the heat. Now it's getting a little.
Yeah, hot. But when it comes to people, you gotta know how to talk to people. Mm-hmm. Cuomo, like, them jokes are not gonna fly with everybody. And the one thing I can't stand is, like, if nobody, like, I can see it. They were saying like one of them say he touched. Now that's when my ears perk up. Like, okay, now I want to hear more. He touched you. He did this to make you feel uncomfortable. I want to know more about what happened. Give me more details about that. Like, when you hear stuff about with that guy, the guy from Minnesota, Al Franken, I'm like, it wasn't even that serious. But see, the Democrats, they really have to be that way. Like, when shutting down, like, oh, he should step down. Because anytime somebody come out against a Republican, oh, they're guilty. And then when it's a Democrat, mom's the motherfucking word, and it shouldn't be that way. Now, I say yes, believe women, but you got to verify the shit that's coming out of their mouths, and the men too. You got to verify from everybody.
Everybody. Yep.
Everybody.
Yep.
And now y'all going to investigate him. Okay. And if Letitia James finds out that he did more things that he shouldn't have, and she recommends that he steps down, he should step down. And if he don't step down, impeach his ass.
That's right.
Point blank, period. It's not that hard. And people mad because Chris Cuomo won't talk about his brother. That's his fucking brother.
Right.
What I look like talking about, oh yeah, this happened, and then interviewing people talking about my brother. You wouldn't do that about your mother, your uncle, your cousin. You wouldn't do that.
Right.
And then Meghan McCain, her bitch ass, you was scared to talk about Lindsey Graham at one point. You said, that's family. I'm not going to talk about him, all this and that. But now you want to come at Chris Cuomo. Now see, that's the shit I can't stand.
I agree, because I thought about it and I said to myself, boy, Chris Cuomo has one of the top shows on CNN at night.
He can't
His
talk
brother's story is, but it's like there's first of all, there's business, and then there's your home life, and it's like morally, that's my brother. You think if my sister do something crazy or is accused of something, you think I'm gonna get on here and bash talk about my sister? Are you kidding me? My sister? I'll come here and say, Kevin, if you don't scratch that off that fucking list, I will leave. Don't you ever write my sister's name on no fucking list. Because that is his brother before he's the governor.
Right.
There was a situation, I'm going to say this and then we can move on. There was a situation a few years ago at my church. And my pastor, his brother and his sister, they go to my church too. Now, my pastor, he's the youngest out of out of the three siblings. He's the baby. His sister is the oldest. So there was a conversation that was being had by one of the members, and she was having it in another room, whatever the case may be. She actually was having the conversation with me. Now, my pastor's sister overheard her talking, and I guess she thought that the lady was saying something bad about my pastor. She wasn't. The lady was just saying something about a certain situation. His sister came in that room and laid her out. And I felt so bad for the lady because I'm thinking to myself, she's not saying what you think she's saying. And one thing that his sister said was that will stick with me forever. She said, let me tell you something. That is my brother before he's my pastor. And I better not ever hear you talking about my brother. And I said, whoa. And that's how it is. Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo is Chris Cuomo's brother before he's the governor of New York. So you think he's going to talk bad about his brother? Hell no.
Well, I want to know, how was this resolved when she's like, oh shit.
So she said what she had to say. She left out of the room, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, oh my God. So after everything had died down, I had went to her and I told her, I said, no, this is what it was. I think they had a conversation after, because they did have a conversation. I don't know what conversation they had afterwards. Okay. But I did go in, after everything was calmed down, I went in there and I said, no, this is not what it was. She was explaining to me about a certain situation, and she was just saying that she didn't think that pastor should allow that to happen. Well, I guess the sister, she walked past that room. I saw her walk past the room. Then she backtracked. Oh my God. She came here. She said, let me tell you something. That is my brother before he's my pastor. And I better not ever hear you talk about my brother like that no more. Oh. But I think it may have been something deeper. The way she snapped. Yeah, I said, Lord, you snapped on her. You snapped on that lady like that. But rightfully so. Don't nobody want to hear. You're not going to let nobody talk about Nina.
No.
You're not going to let nobody talk about Nina or Gigi. Now you can talk about it. Yeah. But you can't do that.
Right. So they they be like, that is my sister, and I'm defending. Well, she talk about and I talk about her too. But we ain't. And Nina, I know for a fact ain't gonna let nobody out on the street talk about you. Right. She's not gonna do that. Yeah, we talk about each other because we're brother and sister. But you better not cross that fucking line. Yeah. So no, I mean. I'm not gonna, just like I don't expect to hear Ted Cruz talk about his wife, because his wife basically threw him under the bus with them text messages. Yeah, but Ted Cruz don't even want to defend his wife, because bitch, you out there running with Donald Trump. I don't want to roll with you, bitch. You out there with the president, he talking about me, call me ugly.
Call him the ugly.
Yeah.
And then say Ted Cruz's father had something to do with JFK's assassination.
Couldn't be me. And you know why he's probably out there? Because he probably got some dirt on Ted Cruz. He got dirt on all. He's the president. I mean, he was the president. You can get dirt from somebody and say, "I'll tell."
And Fox News on CPAC for the CPAC when they was covering, they had on the banner President Donald Trump, not former president. They had President Donald Trump, not former president.
I mean, all of these people out here believe in all these conspiracy theories, talking about, oh my God, we were just watching something before we recorded. It said March 4th that President Trump was going to be reinstalled as the president. How?
Who's swearing him in? What judge is going to swear him in? And where's he going to live?
These people just believe in anything.
It's so sad.
Anything. Talk about blood sacrifices and all of this and that. Good night. You know, I just can't take these people. Then you got the governor of Texas. I don't even know his name.
Greg Abbott.
Yeah, Greg Abbott removes a mask mandate from Texas.
100%.
Yeah,
and then 100% you can everything will open back up.
And then 100%. Then this happened last year when shit was open, and the numbers went up and up and up and up and up and up and up. Like, we don't learn. Can we get vaccinated first? Can everybody get vaccinated? Joe Biden said there's going to be enough shots for everybody to get vaccinated by the end of May. That's if y'all want to get vaccinated. Mm-hmm. I know some people don't. You know, I'm not on the fence. I just haven't I haven't thought about but when I'm gonna go get it. Mm-hmm. You know, we're seeing how everyone is reacting to this, and I haven't really heard anybody say that. You know, oh my God, it just did this to me. Most people say like I was sick after the second dose, or I just didn't feel well. Right. You know, I should have took the day off. Mm-hmm.
But they still here.
Right.
Alive and well.
Right.
Breathing and
anytime you hear about a celebrity and they dying, oh, did they get the COVID vaccine? Oh, see, that's why I'm not getting vaccinated.
Yeah, but then the person sitting next to them who got it, they just fine.
Just fine.
But you going off of that? Hank Aaron dying at 86.
They're telling the Sicily get the virus shot. You know what?
Yeah.
Right.
She got her walking papers. At 96.
Yes, let her walk. I mean, let that go.
Somebody said that Sicily had another 20 years left in her. She'd have really been Miss Jane Pittman.
Bitch, she was. Okay, at 96. Okay. Sicily, you know, we don't get a lot of black celebs to even make it that far. I think we still have, who was his name?
Well, we got two. We got Harry Belafonte is in his 90s.
Okay, and what's the
Sidney Poitier is in his 90s.
And somebody else.
Well, James Earl Jones.
Yeah, that's the name I'm looking for.
Yeah,
James
Earl
90.
Jones.
Yeah, this is CNN. That was his voice. Yeah, it's not a whole lot, but we have some, and we need to start giving them their flowers too. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't talk about James Earl Jones like that. They don't talk about Sidney Poitier like that. Not unless they're talking about that. Didn't he get an Oscar in the 60s? Or was
Sidney Poitier was the first black man to win an Oscar.
Yes.
And then they
don't talk about it. He don't have no movies. I haven't seen a documentary about him. Mm-hmm. We need to give them their flowers, and we need to celebrate them, talk about them. Like you'll hear more stuff about what the females have done, but you don't really hear about what the men have done. Like I haven't really seen a really good documentary on Harry Belafonte and his activism and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I would love to see that
during the civil rights movement.
Yes, this is stuff I want to see. Mm-hmm. We don't have it. Maybe we can start knocking on doors and say, "Well, what you gonna do about this?" Because I know you can make it happen. You know.
You know who can make it happen?
A lot of people.
Oh, this is my me. It was like, what door am I knocking on?
2219.
Yeah. Okay. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine Sam directing it? Let me stop. So Texas got this mandate with no mask. Everybody, y'all just got to be careful. Yeah. Everybody, wear your mask.
Still wear your mask. If you live down there, still wear your mask. Yep. If you visiting Texas in the next whatever, still wear a mask.
Yep.
Still wear a mask.
I know. We almost there. We're almost there. Everybody just got to get vaccinated. Right. Yes, they're saying the numbers have plateaued, but that doesn't mean that it went down. It's just still right now. It's standing still. We need to get that shit lower, to where no one else is being infected or dying. And we even Philly, they're easing up. This Pennsylvania is easing up, but we need to keep the mask on. Look how low the numbers were for the flu this year. You ain't really hear about nobody talk about no flu because everybody all masked up. You know, maybe it is a good thing that we keep our mask on. But this virus is still deadly. Over 515,000 people have lost their lives, including my mother.
And two
So
of my
we need
cousins.
to be careful. We need to be smart, and don't put yourself in situations like they just said. Oh, Kevin, it's something going on this weekend. Okay, I won't be there.
Right.
I won't be there. I learned my lesson in Atlanta that time I went, and I mean it was wide open, bitch. A mask for what? Turned down for what? I wonder how some of them are doing. That was.
You know what's so sad though?
They don't even
Some
know.
guy that I follow on Instagram, he admitted in his Instagram story, he admitted and said, you know, I never told nobody, but a few months I had COVID, but I ain't want to tell nobody. And I thought to myself, imagine how many people out here who have had it and they have been partying and doing all types of shit and then they got it and then they didn't tell nobody that they got it because they were too embarrassed to tell somebody that they got it.
Yeah, but who else could have passed it on to?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I asked my cousin the other day, I said, you gonna get the vaccine? She said, I looked at her and said, well, you can keep doing that because I'm on my way for my second dose. They said, me.
Excuse me. So Harry and Meghan has an interview coming up on CBS with Oprah Winfrey this Sunday. Now this I really have to see because the Royals, they are done with England right now. They're over here. They're living their American life.
They've been living here for what? For
like a year or two now. Yeah, and you know, Harry and Meghan decided that they weren't going to go back to do their royal duties, and so I think they're going to lose their name. I don't think they're going to be the Sussex
Duke and Dust. Who knows?
Yeah, the
Listen,
Duke
they
and
are
Duchess
Harry
of Sussex.
and Meghan.
Yep.
Harry is Diana's son.
Yep.
Through and through.
Yes.
That is her son.
I think, you know, that he is a good husband to Meghan. And I think for both of them, it was best that they leave. Because you don't want to keep reading those papers. And I mean, they publish about 50 fucking stories a day. You do 50 stories a day and times that by 365.
That negativity.
Right. Who wants to be around that? And Prince William ain't out here defending his brother or his sister-in-law. I haven't heard them say any fucking thing.
And can you, when you stop and think about it, Kevin, you almost forget that they even live here.
Right.
Because
they minding
their business and everybody else is minding their business. So it's like nobody's thinking about them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, that's awesome that they live here, but we're not looking at their relationship the way they looked at it over there. Yeah. Good for them.
And we're not writing stories about them. You know, ain't nobody doing all that racist shit. Like y'all called their child Archie a monkey.
A monkey.
He wasn't even a day old yet.
Yep. That's because we knew the seriousness of when his mother got killed.
Right.
And I think over here in America, when his mother got killed back in '97, everybody was like, "Yep, that
Paparazzi
fucking chasing her." It was sad. It was sad. I remember that.
Yep, I'll never forget it. I watched CNN all fucking night.
Yep.
Learning about Princess Diana. That was September 1st, 1997. And it was actually on our side, it was August 31st.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say because it was August on our side.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So that shit was crazy.
Because I remember when we went to school, I never forget, I was going to Finletter. I was going to Finletter at the time. And I never forget, the first day of school, they got on a loudspeaker and had us do a moment of silence for her. Because it was still like a few days
before
old
school,
before school started. And the first day of school, they had us do a moment of silence for her. And I never forget this boy named Robert said, well, she didn't even live over here. Why are we doing I will never forget that. He said, well, why do we got to do that for her? She didn't even live over here. But I guess it was just, you know.
Yeah.
But you watch certain interviews with her now and you say, wow. She got out of Dodge.
And she was classy.
She was classy and she had a pure heart. She had a pure... What she did for people with AIDS, children, you know, children with AIDS, you know, adults with AIDS, what she did for people just in general, her heart was pure. And it wasn't, I'm doing this for press and I'm doing this for this. No, she was doing it because that's what she was here to do. It just so happens that she had this title, you know, and that's why it got a lot of recognition. But that was her. She had a pure heart. And for that to be taken away, it was so sad. But I'm so happy that her son, her youngest son, is doing his thing. I'm so happy he's doing his thing.
He ain't that wild boy no more. He played.
Yeah.
See, like I said, you play around in your 20s.
He did his. Yeah, he definitely, because he was in the news when he was in his 20s. When he came of age.
Yes,
that's all you heard was Harry, getting high. Doing this. He was course smoking. He was this. He was kissing with this girl. Oh my god. Like, wait, should I be upset or damn? He getting caught every fucking weekend. Right. But like you said, he did his dirt, his fun, and now he's older. He's pushing 40 now, so it's like, yeah, he's married now with a family. They're about to have their second baby. Yeah, and he is his mother's child. He's his mother's child. Now the older one, William. I don't know too much about him. I know he's balding.
Yes. William looks much better when he was younger.
Yeah, he did. Because now he looks older.
Yeah.
But I think William is probably more along the lines of the family. You know? Because
everything is the crown.
But William is
he's next in
line after his father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy because his grandmother's pushing 100. Literally pushing 100 because she's like 95. His father's already in his 70s. So it's like, you know, if his grandmother dies and his father become king, who's to say how long his father be here until he becomes
they live
king?
a long time.
Yeah.
Because his father was 99 and still clinging in life.
Yeah, his grandfather. Yeah, William's grandfather's 99. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, he'll be 100 soon this year. Mm-hmm. I just don't know what month.
I don't know, but yeah, I'm intrigued to see what they're going to say. And Harry, you know, I gotta watch the interview with him and the other British guy on Channel 3. What's his name?
On CBS.
Carpool Karaoke. Yes. James Corden. Yeah. James Corden. I gotta watch that interview. Yeah. So yeah, kudos. It's so good now because at first it was gonna be an hour. There's gonna be 2 hours now.
What, for Oprah?
Yes. Oh. And I'm gonna DVR it. So I mean, I won't be watching Housewives anyway, but I'll be watching Harry and Meghan. Of course, I'll be ready on Monday to talk about what they talk about. So I gotta see more about it, but I was reading about these Dr. Seuss books. 6 books that they're no longer going to publish because they were offensive and had racial.
But you know what's so crazy? Because I feel like this particular story is nothing new to me. I've heard this over the years that there's always been a little racial shit put in Dr. Seuss books. And then when you stop and think about the time that those books came about, it's kind of like, well, I can see that it was in there. But I think as I got older, I just never really paid attention to the story any longer because it was kind of like, well, I'm not reading Dr. Seuss books any fucking way anymore anyway. So it's like, yeah, I don't. But and then they all look. What is a who?
Yeah.
I know.
It looks like somebody. Yeah, because when you get fucked up plastic surgery, you look like a who. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to leave it alone. Mm-hmm. And it's like they only got one look. Either you got Kim Kardashian for the white girls, and then for the black. Just leave it alone. And I'm not gonna say anybody. Just leave it alone.
I think I know.
Can
I say?
No. Okay. Because we're not that. We're not.
Does the last name begin with J and end with an N?
Who?
Does the last name begin with a J and end with an N?
I don't know who that is. It ain't no Janet Jackson.
Well, I didn't say her, but I didn't say her. But
don't do it. Ain't no but.
Well, who are you talking about? That's black. Tell me. Write it down.
I don't know.
No, you know. Write it down. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yes. Leave it
alone. Catherine.
And more. And more. Y'all all had that one look.
Oh!
Leave it alone, okay?
Muppet Babies.
Leave it alone. I'm not talking about her. You trying it.
No, I'm just saying.
But it's still one look. It's one look. Okay?
And guess what? When I go to the doctors, I don't want that look.
No, yeah. I mean, it's. I know some people. Totally different.
It's a shame.
I know people want to.
They took Lil' Kim's face and took it off her face and put a whole nother.
Yeah, I know people want to enhance stuff, but try to embrace your naturalness. Like you ain't got to change your nose, you ain't got to change your lips, You ain't got to change your skin color. And like when you see your beautiful black women doing that, you be like, what the fuck she do to her face?
Isabel is one of the few people who had
Yeah,
work
a nose
done,
job,
a
yeah.
nose job, and it looks
and she
natural.
needed it. She needed
And she
it.
needed it because her nose was really big when she was young. However, it's nothing wrong with a big nose, but
Because your nose balances your face.
what happened was when she got her work done, I feel like now, if you look at her now, you'd be like, oh, I didn't know she had work done. Because it looks so natural on her.
Right. You know
I don't know who she went to, but that's who everybody else should have went to.
Yeah.
Cause,
Kelly Rowland went to her doctor, okay?
Well, listen,
Kelly's nose looks good.
they all look naturally beautiful. I don't believe it. Now that I'm looking at Kelly's face, I don't see Kelly getting work done.
She got her nose done.
She did?
A long
Oh,
time
wow.
ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But she went to a good doctor. You want to go to a doctor where you don't have to keep touching that nose.
Yeah. At all.
Okay.
You want to go to a doctor that when you got out that chair, you're like, wait, did y'all even do anything?
Right.
That's what I want to do.
I mean, because implants are going to come. You know, some people that want to, you know, enhance their chest, you're going to get implants. But all of that, getting the booty popping, and you know what? You could get a nice butt by doing some workout and routines.
And I don't have a problem with somebody getting I don't have a problem with somebody getting their butt enhanced as long as it's not
It don't
butt.
look. Some of them don't look natural, and they got them diaper booties. Look like
What's her name looks very beautiful and natural.
Who? Oh, I don't pay no attention to that.
Well, but I'm just saying, it looks, you would never know that work was done.
I didn't even know that. Because I never had those conversations about that.
Oh my God, yes. Well, you know, the chest. Yeah, well, yeah, both of them. I remember when she came back home and we went out and you couldn't sit down. We went to Cracker Barrel. Oh my God. We went to Cracker Barrel. First of all, I have a picture of her. We went to, so she had to clean out my car in the back seat because she had to lay down. When we got to Cracker Barrel, you know what she did? She stood up the whole time because she couldn't sit down. Yeah, but she didn't do anything, and I think they took fat out of her. I think that's what they did for her. They took fat, but the body is a beautiful, natural body that, unless somebody says it, you would never know.
Right.
You would never know. That's what people should do, rather than trying to get these Kim Kardashian butts and all that, where the butt don't even match the legs and the thighs, look like an ant's butt. Like, come on.
But turkey stick.
I don't care what nobody say. These guys be on here bashing these women. So, oh yeah, but these guys be having sex with them butts. Because let me tell you something. Them women are getting them butts for other women. They're getting them butts to attract guys with
on
money.
Instagram.
And them guys are paying for it. So don't be fooled by them guys on social media. Oh yeah, because I don't know why I like my women natural. Stop lying.
Right.
Because these women are getting their bodies done for, yes.
We seen how they fly people out. You know what gets me is some of them that think that they get flown out and then they get mad when they don't get their ticket home. Like, you knew what it was all about. You knew. You fucking knew. So let's move to the last question. Because we already talked about how to deal with coworkers. So that was somebody asked. So then we got this one. I have a question for the show. I've been dating this guy for the past 3 months. Long story short, I'm not feeling it, so I've been planning to let him know that I no longer want to date and would prefer just being friends. Last night, he ended up telling me he was HIV positive before I got a chance to express to him how I was feeling. I remember him wanting to share something with me on our first date, but I requested that he not, because I didn't feel like we were at a place to share personal stuff like that. I kind of assumed his status before he told me based on that, so it honestly does not bother me. It has put me in an awkward position because I feel like I can't express how I feel now. I don't want him to think that I feel that I feel this way because of his HIV status. If you were in my position, would you be honest and tell him how you were feeling while assuring him that it has nothing to do with his status, or would you wait a little while longer before telling him?
Is that the end of it?
Yes.
So I think for me, I would be honest enough and just say, listen, I'm not used to this. I think until I get a little bit more educated on how I can go about with this relationship, I want to step back for a minute because I don't want to be in a position of making you uncomfortable and then me being uncomfortable and then you seeing that I'm uncomfortable and then it becomes a whole uncomfortable situation. So let me first, because that's a serious thing. And it's not to say that you can't be in a relationship with someone who has HIV. It's just that I'm not educated enough to say, okay, I'll date you, even though you got HIV, I'll date you. I'm not educated enough because then I need to know, well, then to protect myself. You know what I mean? So, in order for me to do that, how about you help to educate me before we go any further? You know what I mean? That doesn't mean we can't be friends. That doesn't mean we still can't bust it up, whatever. But I just need to educate myself. And I don't want to come off as being ignorant to something that I don't know because I want to make sure that I'm safe. I want to make sure that you're safe. I want to make sure that if this relationship doesn't work out, that I'm being safe with the next person I'm with. You know, I just want to make sure that we're all safe.
Right.
So I don't think it's a bad thing to say to somebody, hold on, wait a minute, let me just regroup. Because that's not something that you hear every day. You don't hear people say every day, I have HIV.
No, and I respect those who do.
Right.
Tell me.
So if you tell me that you have HIV, thank God you told me. So now respect me enough to say, you know what, let me just first educate myself a little bit more with this. You know what I mean? Don't take it as me being mean or he didn't want to date. No, it doesn't mean that at all. I just need to educate myself a little bit more with this to make sure that I'm not doing something and then hurting someone else.
Right. Now, if you want to go about it, I think that the further you string this along, the longer it's gonna hurt this person. So if you feel like you need to tell them, you need to tell them. First of all, I would tell that person because now he done told you this, and he's already gonna feel rejected once you say, I don't want to date you. Like, I think we should be friends. He's already going to feel rejected and think it's because of his status anyway. Like, that's going to happen. Then, like, but you need to reassure him. Like, reassure him that you really just want to be friends and it's not because of his status. Right. Just like how you wrote this to us is the same care that you should tell him.
Right.
Like, that's how you really feel inside. And there is... Like, for people who do live with HIV, there is love for everybody out there. And don't feel like just because you have this status that you can never be in love again with anybody. Because, again, love is out there for everybody. And I do respect those who share their status. Not share their status with the world, but share partner. That with you and be honest with you. Like, because, you know, a lot of men jump in the bed, just do things, have sex, don't even bring up, do you have any diseases? Do you, or what do you have? Like, a lot of those conversations are not being had. And for you to say, this is what I live with, like, I give you all the respect in the world. And I would never be one of those people to out someone just because of their status or because they told me, like, you can't do people that way. You can't do people that way. And if you are a person who feels like, you know, like every time it just doesn't work, I would say seek counseling. I am so happy my medical card came today because that's the first thing I'm doing on my break. Looking for a counselor and getting that therapy.
You know, I know somebody who has HIV, but I didn't know he had HIV, and we're not in that relationship, so there would be no reason for me to know. But he posted it on Facebook. When was World AIDS Day? When was
December 1st.
So he posted it in December on Facebook that he had HIV and that he's been living with it for a few years now. When I tell you, when I read the story, I got so emotional. And I got emotional, and it wasn't because I was sad that he had the HIV. I got emotional because before December 1st, I had no clue that he had HIV. And he was living his life just as can be. And then when I found out, I said to my God, I want to know so bad, how did he get to that mental space of continuing? Because some people being told that they have HIV, it would probably break them down. Mm-hmm. Kind of like having cancer. Nobody wants to live with cancer. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to live with HIV. But once it happens, it's like, I still got to live my life.
Yeah.
And I got so emotional because I said, oh my God, he's still doing his thing. He's still having a good time. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is awesome that, you know, it got me really emotional. And I was just like, wow, I had no clue. But then I started thinking to myself, well, you're not sexual or intimate with this person, so why would you know? You know what I mean? But I just, yeah.
But some people do, and some people do share their status with the world, and they actually are out there trying to educate people.
And that's what he was doing. Mm-hmm. That's why I said it would be best for people to then educate themselves, because a lot of people don't know. You know, even at my age, I'm still not educated on a lot of things when it comes to HIV and AIDS.
Right. Like my friends, like, we'll have that conversation about PrEP. Like I'm like, I don't, like, I understand, like, what it's for. Right. But I'm just like, I don't want to date nobody just to say, you know, I don't want to
be out here sleeping with people just to say, oh, I'm on PrEP so I can do it.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, and that's becoming the norm.
I know somebody with that attitude, and I just be like, that's not a good way of doing things.
Right.
And his whole thing is, well, I take PrEP, and I'm just like, okay, right. So what? You still shouldn't be out here. I got the COVID vaccine, but I'm still not going to be out here without a mask on, running around.
That's a good way to point.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, you don't, it's just, you have to be, yeah.
So you have to, maybe we could bring somebody on who is well versed in it, and, you know, have that conversation, and it could be maybe on the podcast, because I want YouTube to be, you know, but it would be good to educate and have a dialogue. People ask questions and all of that, because I don't think that these topics are stuff people should run from, especially not in 2021. People are living so much longer with HIV. It's like you can, it's like a normal fucking life. Yes, but to still, and that's why I think that it's not as big anymore. Like, because every year when I do the AIDS walk, the crowds get smaller and smaller every year. I'm like, people don't look at it as that, as like it's the end of everything. Like, yeah, like
behind it.
Yeah. But hopefully, you know, when we are able to walk, that we can get more people to get out there and walk and be educated about it and wrap it up. Like, because again, we talk about it, but the stuff I be seeing on my timeline, Lord, you know,
they may be those who are prepped up,
or allegedly are. Yeah. Well, guys, this has been a fun video. Thank you guys for watching this video. We will be back Friday with a new podcast. Again, if you have questions, submit them to either the Scorpion Show at yahoo.com or the Scorpion Show at gmail.com. If there are a specific topic you want us to talk about, with it not just being a question, submit that too. You can DM me on Instagram or all that good stuff. All right, everybody, y'all have a good, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll talk to y'all soon.
And take a little time to enjoy the video.